it's Dan from The Rock Show. We've interviewed you quite a few times, but still I feel we should introduce yourself for people that don't know. This is Paolo from Trivium.
How you doing?
And, well, you guys have just got to the UK.
Yeah.
But you've been on tour with the same sort of three bands.
Yeah,
Europe.
Power Trip and Venom Prison have been with us since the beginning, and Code Orange joins us today. So stoked to be back. It's pretty much all sold out here in the UK, and we're stoked to be ending here. I feel like this is going to be very energetic.
Well, the UK's always been a bit of a second home for you guys, hasn't it?
Definitely. I mean, really was sort of like the first country over here to really take to us, and it's just been growing and growing, and now it's just turned into this long-term thing. You know, we come back, people come out, and we just always have a great time here.
Well, we've been scanning the crowd, sort of going in and out, because we've done a couple other interviews before this, and it just doesn't seem like there's any trend in age or look or anything and that's been something that we've noticed at quite a few of your gigs, is that you guys have that sort of across-the-board pool. Do you reckon that's something to do with the fact that you've got quite a diverse back catalogue these days? Because, no two albums sound the same, which to me I absolutely love.
I mean, I think the key is that when it's come to touring, obviously in the UK and Europe, we headline a lot, but it's like playing festivals, having a bill with new bands, keeping the focus on always trying to win new people over and not just kind of getting set in our ways has really helped us to do that. And we've noticed it in Europe, we've noticed it in the States, all over the world. It's like you still keep bringing in new fans, but we're retaining a lot of the fans that have been with us since the beginning. We've met a couple guys and girls in the meet and greet today that, people that we've been seeing since 05, 06. So that's a really awesome thing. And then it's cool to meet someone that's just discovered your band on this record, and I'm kind of going backwards from there with the back catalog. So that's what we want, and part of it's just the way we tour, and then also trying to make music that's relevant, feels fresh, feels new and exciting, and I feel like with this record we sort of nailed it. I
was going to say, because this one's been a bit of a you've got a lot of very positive press about this album, which by the way, I'm a fan from 2005, just in case you wonder how I know so much. It's a lot of people are saying that you guys seem to found a good place to write from again. Is that something that was reflected when you guys were putting it down? Did you know that you were creating such a thunderous record?
We kind of had we kind of talked about what we wanted to do for a year and a half before we actually did the record. So it was sort of talking and psyching ourselves up for what we wanted to achieve with it. But there was a lot of things that came into play, like Alex being in the band. Just kind of actually getting in the room and writing and seeing how the riffs and everything felt. And just we had a certain level that we wanted to achieve with the record. And we kind of were we're not going to do it until it's exactly how we want it to be. And I think being that focused with the vision and idea made it better. And then of course Josh Wilbur, amazing producer, amazing mixer, it's just the perfect storm. And I think going forward from here we have a real good kind of a bar being set for us again. Whereas an album like Ascendancy was a bar, maybe In Waves or Shogun, this is another bar for us, and it's okay, the next record we're going to have to do something beyond this, and how do we do that? And it's a lot of it's just really planning ahead and knowing what you want to do.
Do you guys ever sort of hark back to your previous writing styles when you go into the room? Do you ever think, want to do something that is more Ascendancy, more Crusade, or anything like that? Or is it just every time whatever comes out, comes out?
Well, I think with this record, it was, let's see what kind of riffs we have. Let's see what songs people have kind of got a blueprint for. And, all those records, we wrote them. So it's it's kind of subconscious there with us, those kind of riffs, the different riffs. And, whether we're playing on the 6 strings or the 7 strings, you kind of go towards different riffs depending on which guitar or bass you're on. And I don't know, with this record, we didn't want it to feel like a nostalgia record. We wanted it to be maybe as energetic or intense as some of the early stuff, but something new and fresh and exciting. And I think the songwriting and the hooks and the melodies were something we felt we really were able to push to another level, because even the heaviest songs have very big hooks, and that's something I've just always thought, like, that's such a cool thing to have, is be able to have like fast double bass, blast beats, all that cool stuff, but like still a great song underneath. Like if you strip it back and just played like chords on an acoustic guitar and sang the melody, you'd say like, oh, that's a cool song. And to be able to do that and then just like amp it up to 11 and go crazy, you know, that's fun.
Which like when you were writing it, did you have one that you just couldn't wait to get out there and play to people live? Was there one that really, for you as a as sort of a person, just like, this is the one I can't wait to see people's reaction to?
I mean, that was sort of pretty much all of them, but honestly, like Sin in the Sentence was from day one, we're like, this is definitely going to be the opener. This is definitely going to be the one we want to put out first to people, make a video for, and the one we're going to debut live. And it's still one of the, you know, most fun songs to play in the set. It had so much going on in it, and it felt really good to kind of just like have a song that just keeps building and has a ton of riffs, and like really like just showed what Alex could do when it came to his own songs. And that was sort of like, okay, there's a lot of songs we could have shown people right away, but this one feels right. Yeah.
Well, you've mentioned the drummer. I hope you don't mind me expanding on that a little bit. Just actually to kind of pay you guys a compliment, in the sense of we, as journalists, do see the changes in lineups that happen, and we just happen to think that you guys have handled the changes that you've had really well. You know, it's always just positive announcements, everything like that. I mean, do you find that it changes the writing process entirely when you've got a different drummer? Cause
I mean, you have different abilities and skills, and just every person's different, you know. It's like you got different personalities and different experience in the studio, so it changes everything. I mean, this record could have been very different without Alex. I mean, we had an idea of what we wanted to do, but he brought in so much more than we thought we were going to have, that it like added to it. It added to the excitement of making the record. Like we did, I think it was last year, we did the tour over here, and you know, we had been writing, we already had half the record written with him, and then we were going to go do the next half and start the record. And so it's like having Alex on the tour, that was his first tour with us, there was like this real buzz for us internally of like, oh, this is going to be awesome. Like, we're excited to do this record. And, you know, it could have been different. You know, that's just like anything. If you change one ingredient, it really can affect the whole.
Yeah. I mean, you guys, I imagine you've probably got like a certain bar whenever you sort of were looking for drummers, because you guys don't have slow drummers. I don't think you can with
I mean,
everything.
I think we just sort of learned, like, this time, we're like, okay, we have to have the abilities and talent that we need. Know, like, okay, this would work, but this could get better in the future if we kind of just give it some time. It's like, we need the exact dude we need right now, and we need to look for that. We need, you know, a guy that can handle the whole back catalog, that can play any song and then some, and that's what Alex is.
Yeah, because the latest record is blisteringly fast.
Yeah, he's crazy. He's fun to watch, you know, just to like turn around and like see him playing the drums. You're like, it's a show in itself, you know. I think metal drummers are the most fun to watch live, because it's just like an endurance athlete kind of.
It's almost you could do Olympic metal drumming.
Yeah, seriously, should put that in the Olympics. Double bass.
So a bit of an absurd question, but it's just because you guys are back over here, and obviously you're on a tour at the moment, but do you have plans to bring something that would make me and quite a few fans very happy, the Bullet for My Trivium tour?
I mean, we've talked about it a while. So, I mean, we're doing the shows in the States. We share the same booking agent here. It's always been like, we've always been game. It just never worked out timing-wise or whatever. But, I mean, if there was a possibility to do maybe, I don't know, like how big of a tour, but maybe like some shows at least, I think it'd be really fun and fans would definitely dig it. So we're always game for it. So it's really just making it work for both of us to like the timing and all that stuff. So maybe that's something later next year, you know, figure it out.
Have you guys thought maybe about guesting on each other's stuff on stage? Because that would be amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
dropping the idea
anything's a possibility. I guess if you make a tour like that happen, you know, you make an event, maybe do some cool collaboration type stuff. So we'll see.
Okay, so talking about tours with different people, is there anybody still out there that you have never been able to get on a billing with, that you would quite like to say, like, play the show with those guys?
Yeah, I mean, we've really like kind of checked off like every band you could think of is in terms of like kind of like dream like touring, like Iron Maiden, Metallica, Slayer, like the classic Slayer lineup. Like that was definitely, you know, when you're doing it, you're like, oh, this is cool. But now, like in hindsight, you're like, wow, we had the chance to tour with Slayer, the original lineup. You know, you never know like when it's gonna be, you know, when maybe someone's not gonna be in the band, or like with Jeff, you know, tragically like dying. Like you don't know those kind of things. So like I really appreciate that tour a lot more now because of it. But I don't know. For me, it's like just making cool lineups now. I feel like we've kind of moved into being a headliner so much more that it's sort of like I'm looking for like new stuff. Like the band I like don't even know exists yet. And I mean, with Spotify, we're all like always looking for new stuff, whether it's maybe an older band we just didn't know about or a new band that's putting out stuff. And this bill kind of reflects that. It was like find the 3 best, buzziest new bands that are doing something cool in the scene. You know, and every band's kind of different. It doesn't have to sound like us at all. Like Venom Prison's a very heavy band. Like it's almost, you know, death metal. But it's cool because it's just nice that there's new, fresh bands always kind of coming into the scene. And like for us, it's like helping to kind of give those bands a platform to be in front of like a lot of people that are maybe receptive to new music. And we know how hard it was in the beginning to just go out there and play for people. So it's kind of like we're now able to like pay it back, you know.
Yeah, and when you also can gear your set to whatever you're on stage with as well a little bit, because you've got everything from a classic sort of thrash sound all the way through to the metalcore sound.
Yeah, I mean, well, I always see like bands like talking about like I've seen like so many bands talk about like Code Orange and all this stuff, but like they don't bring like bands out like that, and I'm just like, we're like, no, we want to bring the bands out because like they're heavy. All these bands I think are on fire. Like there's like an energy when you're a newer band and you're like fighting to be known and you have an energy. And we had the same thing when we're touring for Ascendancy. That's sort of like you have to have that in the beginning to really make yourself known. So bringing those bands out, like it just like kind of makes us want to come out and be like, okay, bringing all these new bands out with all this energy, we got to bring the energy, and we got to do it for like 90 minutes. So I like it. I think it's like a good challenge for us to be like, okay, if we're gonna still be a relevant touring band, live band, like you can't rest. You can't bring out bands that are gonna make you look heavier. Like I want a band that's gonna push us, and it's fun. It's been great. I think the fans are getting an awesome show. I love seeing Trivium fans leaving with, you know, not only Trivium merch, but like maybe picking up a Power Trip or Venom Prison shirt and maybe checking out their stuff when they go home. It's like, to me, it's like continuing to like push new music out there and keep the scene relevant, not just like focusing on like old nostalgia all the time.
That is, I think, quite a good point to sort of finish on. You've got demands on your time as well, and the last thing that we want to do is keep you from prepping for the show, because we're going to road test you on this theory.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun one.
So thank you so much, as always, for taking
Appreciate it. Thank you.
To speak with us. It's been awesome.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dan. I'm from the Mike James Rock Show. Thank you very much for watching my interview. Please like, subscribe, and then if you're really interested, hit that little notification bell as well. Our channel isn't the most active because, as well as running the YouTube channel, we're actually a radio show, and that's why we have the channel, because we wanted people to be able to see the interviews if they weren't necessarily interested in our radio show. And if you are at all interested in the radio show, we're basically a show that promotes new music. We feature certain things each week as well. All the links that you need to have a look into this are all in the description below, so please check them out. You can follow the show, all the links there to follow it as well. And if you're particularly interested in following me as well and everything I get up to, I do the show amongst other things, you're more than welcome to hit the follow down links as well. Thank you so much for watching my interview. Cheers.
Welcome to the Mike James Rock Show.